But I guess Scott's not coming, so open the meeting.
I make a motion to appoint Roy Ricker as chairman for this meeting only until we, until Scott arrives. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye. And then I'll serve as clerk. You make a motion for that?
Make a motion you serve as clerk for tonight's meeting.
I'll second it.
Favor?
Aye.
We want to go over with Debbie first, then we go down.
Yeah. So, Debbie Egan, you're here to discuss administrative assistant job description. Who takes the application and stuff like that?
Yes, I'm here as a follow-up to last week's meeting with the selectmen, where we discussed that the administrative assistant position right now is silent as to any relationship with the business manager position that was created about a year and a half or so ago. So I just updated the job description, and I have copies here to show where the business manager is inserted. The business manager has direct daily supervision over the administrative assistant. None of the job duties have changed, really. It's just that the day-to-day interaction and work assignments need to be given to the business manager, so that the superintendent isn't assigning tasks to the administrative assistant. So I can show you here, and I did discuss this with the union president on this. The job duties are not changing. This is one for Chairman Martin.
So this is basically the same as the one that I have here. Then.
Yeah, so anywhere where you see an arrow.
The only thing I did notice in this one here, you were saying something about
It was rewritten, thoroughly revised and updated, and I worked closely with the superintendent, the chairman, and I know the administrative assistant worked in updating and refreshing that job description, and it resulted in a job upgrade. So all this does is just, as you can see, the direct supervision is by the business manager. It works with the business manager, it contact with others, has regular daily contact with the business manager, otherwise that was silent. Supervision received, I've inserted works under the direct and daily supervision of the business manager, and then I continue, and under the broad supervision of the water superintendent and authority of the Board of Water Commissioners. That's all the language that was there before. And then supervision of others. In the rewrite in 2009, the administrative assistant was supervising a senior tax credit program worker. So I just put in here, as instructed by the business manager, the position will supervise. So if the business manager has a project for the senior tax credit person, they may say to the administrative assistant, just supervise this and make sure it's done according to what the board wants. So if you're satisfied, if you have any questions, I can answer it. If you're all set, I would need you to vote and sign the revised copy.
So the need to have this rewrite was because we now have a business manager, and that was not, we didn't have a business manager when Marie was, when you first wrote this description up.
When the rewrite in 2009, we didn't have a business manager,
right.
And I remember when I had meetings with the superintendent and the chairman, we discussed, we would have to address the fact that the administrative assistant position and the superintendent should be updated to reflect the addition of this new position.
Yeah. Okay. So this, we're going to formalize it now with this vote?
Yes. So I would need the board to vote and sign my original here this evening.
All right. I make a motion that we accept the modification and this revision of the 2009 job description for the administrative assistant to now reflect that that person's reporting to the business manager per this document.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
So appointing authority, there's 3 signatures there, so we will just determine the same.
In the absence of the supervisor too, and then Scott not being here tonight, what do we, how many signatures do we need?
We need a minimum of 2 on all the water department
Okay.
job descriptions. That's been the policy
Okay.
that I'm aware of. And the appointing authority is the water board on this. So when the superintendent comes back, I can have him sign it as a formality.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
go ahead, Mike. So this is the new job description now.
Yeah, so you can just see.
Now, the week,
We'll give you a clean copy after it's fully signed.
Okay, these things, so they have, you should probably have a revision date on it, you know?
Well, I have a date of January 22nd,
Okay,
as approved by the
I gotcha.
board. The personnel board will sign off with a different date. And it will have a stamp on it in the corner,
Okay.
once I have it formally reviewed and signed off.
Yeah.
Any other questions then? Was there
Just the
questions?
town comment, if we should. what-
Yeah, if you want to, we've been getting a lot of inquiries on the posting for the administrative assistant. The deadline is Tuesday, the 29th. If you would like to
But we're
advertise
supposed to
it,
have it 2 weeks, correct?
minimum of 10 business days. And it does say, or until filled. So we can certainly extend it. The closing date is officially the 29th. And if I was thinking that, why don't we see what we have come in, we'll review them with Laura, see what the applications are, and we would screen the applications, make sure they meet the minimum qualifications of the job description, and then set up a session where the top applicants have
They
to
come in and talk to us.
well, before they would even be presented to your board, we would need to screen them. We would do some skills assessment, some computer testing, and, have them come in, test them on Excel, various software programs, and ascertain their writing skill levels. Obviously, the minutes are a big portion of this position. So that's really what we would do, and then from there, refer them on to the board for formal open session interviews.
Okay.
No, I make a motion that we post it then in the column.
Well,
With that, Roy, I think we want to go through the applications first.
I'll go through the
Yeah.
I
applications first.
think it seems to be a lot of interest in the position, so we may have some.
So we don't have
So
to
if you want
post
to
it, you're
just
saying?
avoid that cost for
Okay.
now.
We'll look at the candidates
Okay.
as we run, and then if
We need
we
to.
feel we need to go further, then we'll just advertise it.
Okay, all right.
Now, do we have to post if we want to go in an advertised position, we have to repost it?
No, the position is open until filled. There's a deadline of January 29th, so if somebody really wants to get in there, after that date, if we don't find anything, we will still continue to collect resumes and
Okay.
consider them after the date.
Okay, we can do that.
You
So
know,
all we need to do as a board would be to say, okay, well, we want some more candidates, and we would get an ad in the paper. Now, will we take care of the ad?
Yes, I would place the ad for the water department, and then we would just send the bill over
Okay.
based on
Yeah.
what the job vacancy
All right, well-
is. But I think we may not need to. I think
Okay.
we'll, ascertain that situation, after the 29th. We'll review everything.
How many candidates have applied now already?
I don't know. I know I had a couple of inquiries,
Yeah.
and we got some in. So I would say there's probably at least, 5 or 6 already.
All right.
Could be more in
Good.
today's mail. Not
Good.
sure. Okay.
Okay,
Any other questions, or?
I'm all set.
Okay.
Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you,
Egan.
thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
So I'll make a motion to, the next item is on our agenda is to decide on the temporary employee.
You want
And-
to do the minutes?
We'll get the minutes first.
Oh, the minutes?
Yeah.
To
I
accept
just
the
have
minutes?
one change on the minutes. We forgot Jason Massey name. I'll amend that. He was attending that meeting and his name is left out.
Oh,
Yeah.
farther down. Okay.
Yeah,
And then
I'll fix that.
the other thing I had a question on, if you remember, Roy. Now, the annual town report we put together,
Right.
was that to go to the DEP or was that to go to the selectmen first and then the DEP?
That's
It's
just.
two separate town reports.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, one Laura that's for the selectman's office.
Okay,
And our other annual report for DEP is separate. That's something that I'm working on completing right now.
okay. So this report goes to the selectmen?
We submitted it.
Yeah. Okay. And then, on the second page, about the change orders at the top. The Board of, then we can bring it to the Board of Selectmen for their approval. I guess I'm a little bit confused. We were talking about, we're the ones to approve the change orders. And
Right.
does it go to the selectmen for their approval? I don't think it goes to the selectmen for
It's
their.
not really for their approval, but we're going to put all the change orders on their agenda so that they know.
Just so they know what's going on.
Yeah, so it's sort of, maybe approval was not the correct word there.
I think that what the intent was that we need to make sure that we, as a board, vote on those change orders.
Right, right,
And so that's gotta get into the minutes here.
okay,
So, and
So I'll
then
amend
we
that.
approve it, and then it goes to the selectmen.
right,
But we, as a board, are gonna have it in our documents, so in the minutes, that we went over the change order and voted to approve that change order.
okay,
And then it goes to the selectmen, and then they get it, then they do whatever they.
okay. I'll amend that for next time, okay?
And getting down further, on Gersick Lane, you can help us with this.
We're gonna touch on that tonight too.
Scott Martin asks, is the town planner looking to pull the bond to do the work? Was it, what, we were talking about, whether we had to go, didn't we were talking about whether we had to go to the, and that we had the ability to go to the, tap the bond money?
Right, we're gonna talk about that today.
Okay.
Tonight, and Jay's got some more information, right, Jay? So we
Yeah,
can
there was
take-
there was only preliminary information
So preliminary
that I had
information.
got from John and from the planning department, and we kinda got into it a little more as to how it actually has to
Okay,
happen.
yeah, so we,
At first, I guess it was unclear, so.
I don't know if, Scott's not here, but I don't know, did he ask, is the town planner looking to pull the bond to do the work?
Right.
I
So
don't know if he said
He
that.
wanted John to follow up, I believe, with the town planner.
Okay,
And we're gonna talk about who's gonna pay for the
yeah,
work
today,
tonight.
but I'm talking about for that meeting last time.
Right, I believe that's what he said.
Okay,
Yeah, at that time, he was wondering if they were wanted to pull the
Yeah.
bond for that, and at that time, we did not know.
I guess we
So-
discussed it, we figured out, I think he intended to say that, we're gonna find out whether, that's the proper procedure for the, using the bond money or whatever. Okay, but anyways, that was what I thought the meetings, what he said at the meeting last time. He's not here to say anything, obviously.
One question I got here is, well, the 3 different private companies, Laura, that wasn't for the whole water department, it's just talking about the treatment plant up there.
right, right,
Okay,
right.
just so you know that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
All right, so Laura, do you have the revisions on that?
I will make them for next time. I'll bring them next time.
Okay,
All
so we'll
right.
vote on it next time.
Yep, so I'm going to make changes to clarify the annual report, Gersak Lane, and the private companies.
So we don't have to vote to accept these things?
No, well, I'll make the changes and we can vote next time, okay?
Okay,
And this way maybe Scott will be here and if he wants to.
All right.
I guess we gotta vote to hire, Maureen Kraus as a temporary.
yeah, we need to get somebody in right away.
And so I have a wage action tonight that needs to be signed. And it's to fill, a temporary person to fill for Marie while she's on vacation or until we hire a new person. Okay, so we just need to have you, vote to do this.
So should we vote to temporarily hire
Yeah, Maureen.
Maureen first before we sign that?
Yeah, and
Okay.
then sign,
I make a motion that we hire Maureen Kraus to fill Marie's position temporarily until we find a permanent.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And so we sign this now?
yeah.
Where do you want me to sign on this one here?
So you're acting as chairman tonight, so I'll have your department head here. And you don't need to sign it. All right, thank you.
Okay, so we got the situation is such that John's going to be gone for another 3 weeks. So in the meantime, we need somebody to sign the paperwork and actually act as superintendent in her, as his absence, okay? So I make a motion that we vote to make Laura, the signatory for the SRF, and also at the same time I would want her to be filling in John's Rez's absence.
I'll second it.
Okay.
All in
Oh,
favor?
aye.
Aye.
So I will submit this vote to the selectmen for Monday night, and then the town clerk will send the paperwork into the state Tuesday morning next week. Okay, just so
For
know.
you.
For me
Take
to
care.
be, to sign any of the SRF paperwork, okay?
Discuss searches policy?
Just a question on that. Now, John usually signs that, right?
Right, and he went through, he was already authorized
Yeah.
by you and the Board of Selectmen. So now we're doing the same process, so I can be an alternate.
Okay.
So when he comes back, he's still authorized. I'm just authorizing his absence.
Okay, so Laura's the alternate.
Alternate, right. So we do have a couple of purchase orders here tonight. Oh, you want, is any other?
No,
And Jay, you can probably, we had a water break yesterday. I don't know if you were aware.
I think
Jay, you wanna
the thing
tell?
is, we just want to discuss, especially in the absence of the superintendent. Well, now you've given the authority to Laura, the purchase order policy, because we do have some things that come up, either emergency-wise, ordering parts, chemicals, stuff like that, where, as John's not here every day, that I would need an authorization on a purchase order. So I just want to be clear on what I should do with that. Should I go to Laura with that, or,
see, the thing that we was saying, Jay, is we kept getting bills. And like Tim and I didn't realize anything was bought until it was time for us to sign bills every other week.
that's why I want to see if we can decide.
And that's
the policy.
why him and I talked about and suggested this, that, just two out of three people sign it. So we're not just getting a bill and it ain't fair to the vendor not to pay them, but we didn't know nothing about it. So all we wanna do
Yeah,
is just know something about it,
okay,
even a phone call and say,
that's
you
great,
know,
that's all I want, that's what I wanna know.
we need something,
Yeah.
we need an emergency.
Okay,
We can come down and sign it that night or whatever if need be, but you can get it during the day. Just, at least we know about it.
that was my
Instead of
question,
getting them
because
billed.
I know you guys, on your daily, you're working or whatever, and,
Right.
if I need something like the next day, I just need to make sure I can get those 2 signatures, so the okay that day.
It's just that we
As
got,
long as I can, then that's great.
all of a sudden something comes in 2 weeks down the road, we didn't know that it was done. It's already bought and paid for. It
Yeah.
isn't fair to the vendors not to pay it, but
And this would, as far as my, purely anything capital or anything like that it's not a time, there's no time constraint. It's just purely from.
no, the thing I was thinking about is like, major repairs to the vehicles.
Oh, sure, that's.
Major things are the tires. Just
Yeah.
let us know what's
No,
going on
that
before
would
it's over
definitely
and done
go,
with.
that would definitely go to the same,
Yeah.
bring it to Laura, she'd review it with you guys.
Just let us know about it. A phone call,
Okay.
that's all I ask.
Well,
Absolutely,
it's a phone call, but then we have a purchase order thing here.
Sure, but we can come down and sign it that night if we have, need be.
And, the dialogue, the dialogue can be there to discuss the need or whatever, but make sure when you fill out the paperwork, if it's like an emergency purchase, you gotta have some quotes for other vendors. And so you gotta put on that
I mean-
paper, well, tires, if you don't go
Tires are
every-
non-emergency.
I know, but if it's tires or if it's, say, a gate valve or something, just put on the thing there to help us out and everybody else downtown, or anybody in the future looking at our records, that we
Okay.
know that we have a vendor, Tie Sales, that gives us this stuff, and they've,
That's right, we have
Demonstrated.
some things like EJ, for example,
Prescott,
24 hours a day, I've woken up at midnight and say, yeah, can you get me this pot, whereas other companies won't do that, so that's why we would use them, so it'd be hard for me to get a quote for,
take you 2 minutes just to
You know
put
what
that
I'm
on the purchase order.
oh, absolutely, but,
Emergency, these guys are the only ones that could provide it in a timely
Just
fashion.
communicate with us before something is bought. what we're
Fill out the
asking.
form too
Absolutely.
completely. I don't want to see just EJP on it. Put EJ, Prescott,
yeah,
put down his address and say, just fill the form out more thoroughly. I mean, it would just, you know what I mean?
I've always filled out purchase orders for requests to the superintendent, so,
Okay.
we'll just
No, but
continue.
you understand what we're saying. I mean,
Absolutely,
we're getting bills in 2 weeks down the road that we bought tools, we bought this, we bought that. And, maybe stuff out in the new garage, but all we want to know something about it so we don't look stupid downtown when we're asked to explain it.
absolutely. And most of it will go to, if there's no time, constraint, we'll
We'll bring it to
I'll
the
bring it
next.
to Laura and then we'll
board
discuss it. It was only the things that, I like say just came up that I needed like next day or something,
Yeah, the other thing is materials like chemicals that you normally get in our operation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We should fill out a purchase order where
I
we
do.
say, this is
Every
normally
time,
what we do to get this stuff, and then, this is our normal vendor.
Yeah.
And we normally don't go out for 3 quotes, because we already did that many years ago, or
Yeah.
whatever. And periodically, we should go through and then,
this is the reason I just want to review, because
No, I
that's
noticed-
been my past practice, is I do write the whole thing out, request, give it to the superintendent.
One
Yeah.
thing, like I noticed here, 2 6-inch IMAX fittings.
Yeah,
Now, is this for something that goes back into stock?
it's emergency, pots, yeah.
So I mean,
If we
maybe
use
you
them,
could
we
put
put-
down that you used the last 2 on a certain site.
Sure, I mean, do you want me to write like a whole separate request?
So
No, but I mean, you could have like down there,
Right
just,
on
you
this
use 2
computer.
for a certain job, and now you're replacing your stock, so you've got them in emergency, middle of the night or whatever.
So Roy, too, the other part we're gonna get to in number 7 is PRS is helping Jay and I do electronic job sheets. So he's gonna do a job sheet that he had this emergency and he took these parts out of inventory, so I know
Right.
that, it went back into the system as an asset or whatever I need to
Right.
do with it. So that's just some new behavior, so that,
Well,
we haven't really.
I've always submitted job sheets.
Right, but now it's
Um,
all gonna be more formalized. with parts on it.
It's just, that we wanna know a little bit more of what's going on, so
Absolutely.
that we can answer it down the road. You know, we've got some paperwork that we can look back at and say, oh, we talked about that, or we signed it, or whatever, you know?
Yep.
Instead of trying to look back in the minutes and see if we did or didn't know anything about it.
Alright.
All I ask is just to communicate with us and
Yeah.
quick phone call and say, hey.
Absolutely.
Or
That's
Laura
what-
can call us.
This
get a
is
phone
the only
number.
reason I want to clarify is
Yep.
because now the superintendent, in his absence,
Right.
now we kind of got to do things a little different, at least for the meantime. And I just wanted to be clear on that, that's all. Because I'm used to
Yeah.
going to the superintendent for any and all that kind of
It
stuff.
was like, I had on,
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
when John comes back, you'll be giving him the
Yep.
paperwork, and then he'll be doing what Laura's gonna do right now.
Yep.
So,
So in the meantime, I'll just work with her
and then John, when John comes back, John's gonna pass it back down to Laura anyway, so before we get to it, we want, to make sure that it's, it meets the criteria for purchasing. And, I'm not sure, we're just gonna be working on a policy,
Right,
a
so.
written policy.
I think we
Right,
should
for
probably-
procurement, yeah, we're gonna
So
be
that's
talking
gonna- that's
about
that's
this,
coming.
yeah.
And then we're gonna, when we get that policy, Roy and I and Scott are gonna look at it, and we're gonna vote on it. So then we have more of a formal policy for this, instead of just,
Yeah, I think you're right, because we, like say certain parts, it's in our spec to use those certain parts, so that's why we use certain vendors, and we don't get.
I don't have a problem with
So-
that, it's just, we get the bills 2 weeks
Right.
down the road,
Yeah.
and the money's been something's already been bought, and now we get a bill for $2,000, $3,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
We didn't know anything about it, and it isn't fair to the vendors
Right.
not to pay
I
them,
understand.
but we didn't know nothing about it, and
I,
I think that's how we got in a lot of this trouble. to
and you,
begin with.
and you should have, and so we just wanna make sure that we're going the right direction, yeah.
so we got these purchase orders.
These are the current.
And I put in the tires too, so I
Yeah.
don't know if you wanna talk.
Yeah, that was another-
No, but if it needs it, get it, we should be riding around with all tires on it, the way I feel about it.
Okay.
Well, you feel, when you know enough about tires, you think that's a good price for tires? Because I looked
I
at
do.
it. I
Those
think
for
that,
truck tires?
yeah, I think that.
I called around and the prices were a little bit higher. There were different brands. I mean, I don't know what the brand is for these ones here,
yeah.
but we need tires, get them
These
on.
are the equivalent of what, I was told of what Ford puts on their truck stock. And that's what every other, highway department is using,
Yeah, just if you don't. I
that
know
tire,
this-
so.
Yeah, I'll make a little, maybe if you guys can sign here and I'll,
Just, yeah, well,
you know.
maybe we could just initial it, or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
And then whoever approves the purchase order, they should approve it before we see it, shouldn't they?
yeah, I wasn't sure if I was authorized to approve it.
Well, you are now,
I am now, so I will
So
sign
you wanna sign
those.
this before
I
we-
will sign those, yeah.
before we initial it.
Okay.
Do you want me to take those other ones back before you sign them and put a,
Well, do we need a note on it?
I'll complete these 100%.
yeah, those, like, I
Okay,
just, the chemicals, I put in a request over a week ago, and it was when John, so I need to, order ASAP. I can add my explanation.
Yeah, so tie sales, fill it out, don't make the other staff, hunt down for things in the phone book. Everybody's busy around here. Emergency parts replacement, okay, I like that. Truck 9. So how many trucks do we have?
One, two,
We have 9 trucks
truck.
or 5?
yeah,
5, right?
5, I
Yeah.
believe, yeah.
5, what
The
are we-
numbering system is because as there was older trucks here prior, you just, if that truck is still in, some of those truck numbers are already taken and have already been, those trucks have already been gone. That's why the numbering is the way it is.
It's like wherever.
Doesn't mean it's not-
136, we don't have
Yeah.
136
It doesn't
trucks,
mean
you know?
it's,
So what are the truck numbers? What do we call them? I'm just curious,
this
Jason.
is 1, 4, 5, 7, 9, 13.
What about John Rez's truck? Is there a number on that one?
Truck 1.
yeah, it's always truck 1.
Okay.
And Tim, we're gonna talk about that when we do our capital plan and the way we're going to we'll bring the trucks up. And if
Yeah, I
you wanna
believe we have a
renumber-
spreadsheet with all that
We can
stuff.
renumber them if you want.
What's the
There's nothing
prices
wrong
on
with the way
this?
it is, I mean,
What about the drums of sodium hypochlorite and the pallet of hydrated lime?
Yeah, so
We
we
don't
get
wanna-
on a monthly basis.
How come we don't have any prices on it? Or is it just
Oh,
like a
it's a
normal?
price per gallon, yeah, and it varies as to like, you know, I think it's, I can get all that. It's continuous, it's the same all the time, so.
it's the same company we do
We
business
procure,
with.
yeah, that's right, so.
Okay, so the purchase order, if we need chemicals or whatever, the purchase order is supposed to be filled out completely with a little bit of an explanation on it, with tallying up the numbers and everything, so that, you know, the next tier can start looking at it, reviewing it. Like where in this case would be, right now, Laura would look at it. And then we would, you know, look at it if we need be.
Okay.
And then it goes on the warrant, right?
Right,
Okay, so then it goes on the warrant,
right.
and maybe we should have like a book of, I don't know if you already got a system here, and I'm not familiar with it, but it should be like a little folder of POs, and then it should be all
Oh,
the other
yeah.
stuff that we normally do.
Yep, every invoice, every packing slip is matched to these POs before it goes on the warrant. So if we know something's back ordered, you know, and things like that. And then it goes on the warrant, and the actual invoice is attached to the PO and it's filed.
Uh-huh.
And they're all numbered, Tim, so we can print in our Peachtree system all the POs for the last 10 years. And what number PO and who is invoiced for that PO.
Okay,
So I can start bringing that on a monthly basis, you know, or you can just stop in and I can show you,
okay.
all right? So do you want to make a motion on that, or?
Motion to accept those POs?
Yeah.
I make a motion to accept those 3 POs.
I'll second it.
Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
So as you know, Marie has now out on vacation, and she did turn in her keys. And the keys are kept in our safe here,
Okay,
just so that you know she did turn them in. And we'll probably start looking at a key policy, have people sign out for the keys, you know, when they're new employees, and then when they, you know, leave us,
Makes sense.
we would have some kind of form that they would fill out saying, you know, they turned in their keys, so we can keep track of where the keys are, and who has the keys, and so on and so forth. So I'll be working with, you know, Jay and figuring out what we have keys for, and we'll write up a policy and bring it to the board.
Okay.
okay, so why don't we make a motion that you know, draft up a policy for the next meeting about keys
Okay,
and access, and then turning in keys and all, you know,
right,
everything that goes along with it for security or whatever. And make a motion to do that.
I'll
Yeah.
second it.
All in favor? Aye.
so I just wanna, now, we have PRS was, you know, he's back and working for us again. So on Thursday this week, we're gonna finish up the computers in the business office, connecting it to the server, and moving some of the Comcast things that are underneath Marie's desk and putting it on the server. So we have about 4 to 6 hours worth of work in the business office for Rick. And then I would like to bring Rick to a board meeting and have Rick talk to you about the IT phase 2, which is the routing from the treatment plant over to this building. And we talked a little bit today in our treatment meeting about running the SCADA system in this building until the new SCADA's up and running in the other building. So there's some IT work that needs to be done. And I think it would be good to hear it from Rick and kind of make a plan to see if you want to move forward in that direction or you want us to look in another direction. So that's kind of where we are with the IT right now. We're finishing up what we started. We have some dig safe things that we have to work on, getting on different computers so people are notified. And that will be done Thursday, and then after that, it'll all be new work that we'll bring to the board. And Jay, is there anything else that we can think of with the IT right now? So we're kind of, in a phasing the new transition for the treatment plant over here.
So you don't need a motion for that?
No, I just wanted to, we're going to talk about the phone system, and Rick will talk to that. We're going to go to an IP phone system as part of the SCADA, and just want to give you a heads up on that. So we're going to move away, and we might have extensions, because this building will answer the phones for the treatment plant. They'll be routed over here. Somebody calls the treatment plant, I'm going to answer. The business office will answer the phone for the treatment plant. So we got to work on that technology to get the phones routed over here. So we'll be talking about that with Rick. So those are a couple of things that are happening in the IT world. I just want to let you know. The other thing is, I met with the finance team last week, and that's Sean McFadden, Karen Summit, Sue Bailey, Debbie Egan, and Amy. And they started putting together a town-wide calendar of things that are going on for all the different departments, and they're going to integrate the water department into the calendar. And this is going to be available through Outlook on our computer. We'll be able to add to the calendar here. I'll bring the calendar to the meetings. They're giving me 30 days to get my stuff on the calendar because I needed a few. I couldn't do it this week. I'll be working on, putting in when our bills are due, some of our important, like the CCR that's due, some of the big things that are scheduled for the water department. They're also starting to write the fiscal policies, and they want to get our input to what we think our fiscal policies are and how they're going to integrate with the town's fiscal policies. So we'll be working on that. I have a meeting next Wednesday, I believe, is the next meeting. They're also working on like different bylaws and things that the water department that might just fit into the town. We talked about the IT for the water department and our new phone system and what our needs are, because we're going to move off of the Centrex phone system, which is the town. You dial the extension and I can call the selectmen. So we're going to be off of that system. So we talked a little bit about that. We talked about our Peachtree and our inventory system and our assets and the way that we account for things here. We just touched on it. And just kind of getting them familiar with what we do here and what they need from me and what they need from the water department and what I need from them. And it was a good start, I felt. It was really, it's going to be good for us, give me some guidelines to what is expected. On certain days, they want me to turn in certain things. I never knew it, but now I do. It's on the calendar, so I know what's expected. And, I'll keep you guys updated on how I'm doing with it. So that was the beginning, and I thought it was a good start to getting, communications opened up with Town Hall.
Okay. I got a quick question. When we as a department report in downtown, do we report through Debbie, or is there a whole gambit of people there that we report to?
I can bring that up. I think right now Debbie seems to be our contact. So I don't, that's what I was a little afraid of, that I was going to have 13 bosses.
Yeah.
I have enough work, but I think they understand that I'm going to need some person, what to do, and Debbie gave me the 30 days to get what I needed to get on the calendar. So I think, you know, it was fine. I think having one person to go to versus, you know, another committee of 5.
Yeah.
But I can clarify that at next week's meeting.
Yeah, it might be a good idea,
Yeah.
because I don't know if we need to have you overwhelmed with all these added duties you're doing right now.
Okay.
Because you're doing 3 jobs now. I want to make sure that it's smooth for you downtown.
Thank you. So I'll just, you know, touch in with Debbie in the committee next week, and maybe we can set some protocol.
Yeah.
So everybody knows that, you know, who's gonna tell me to do what next.
Well, keep us informed.
Yeah, I will. I thought it was good. I think this is gonna go in the right direction. And
Yeah.
it just makes them aware, makes me aware of what they need from me. So, it was good.
You think like an organizational chart might help
I think we're
everybody
gonna
here,
go there. I
staff
think-
and
Yeah,
them? Okay.
I think it would help Jay and I too, right, Jay? I mean,
Sure.
it just,
For what?
Organizational chart for this place.
I mean, I have one, and
Okay.
it's just,
Yeah.
it's pretty basic, you know, I mean.
yeah. So,
Let's try to get it in front of the board. Like
Yeah, I
next week.
have one, I don't have, it's in my office, I don't have it with me.
Yeah, because, you know, I haven't seen one of you, Roy.
No.
Yeah. So,
all right.
there's not very much in the indoctrination of a board member here, you know, or any of these boards. It's not like it's not typical. We get into these board situations and we're trying to catch up, and it takes a while for us to catch up. And we, you know, a lot of this confusion is because we, you know, we didn't know what the protocol was in some of these things, so we need to catch up. So if you got that organizational chart, have you seen that one here?
When we
Yeah,
we sat and talked about the
Yeah.
future, you know.
Because we talked a little bit about the job descriptions
Yeah.
in March.
Yeah.
We did bring that to the board, but we didn't have an organization chart at the time. You know, we started thinking about, you know, what, with the treatment plant and things like that.
Okay.
But it hasn't
It's
been
pretty basic.
formalized,
you know,
yeah.
It's,
Yeah. So the next thing I had, and it's a little note in there, the Great Marsh Garden Club contacted me today. They're going to have a guest speaker on water conservation April 2nd, and I'm not sure what the location is yet, but they wanted to know if we would be interested in partnering with them to communicate, using a stuffer in our bill to let people know that this is happening, and to maybe put it on our website. I think it's a good thing, and that's something that we really need to do here, is to start talking about ways to help people conserve water. And, you know, I thought this would be a good partnership, but kind of needed to get your approval, because it would be a stuffer in our February and March bill. And the cost is $97, and they're gonna pay half, and we would pay half, is kind of what they're looking for. So roughly $100 for us to, you know, participate in this. And I think it's really would be well spent.
We have the money?
Yep.
Okay.
But I would need a vote of the board for this.
Well, we've done some of this stuff before. You did some of this last year, didn't you, Jay?
yeah, conservation stuff is becoming a big thing with DEP especially, and they really like to see stuff like this, especially with our recent withdrawal permit. You know, you kind of have to keep up your conservation efforts, so it'd be a great thing. Yep.
Okay.
Well, I'll make a motion that we go along with them.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Jay, I think the next one is you.
Yeah, I had a gentleman contact the department about he actually lives in Newbury, up Route 1A. I don't know if you're familiar with the old Wright Road. past Pikel's Farm. You know the big marshes there, that long straightaway, and he lives on one of the first couple houses there, and he had just curious whether the department or the board, if he found a way in the money to run a line to the end of our main, would the department be open to connecting? He just wanted to kind of put it out there to get an idea, so.
But Newbury doesn't have a.
Newbury doesn't have a water main out there, no.
What is the protocol, what do we usually do with something like that? Have we ever had something like this?
Well, I mean, you just have to take, it is kind of a different situation, you know.
I'm just asking if
This
we've
is
ever done
definitely
it
a-
before, or,
Not, you know, we have one other service in the whole town, I think, that's on, which is White Farms, that's actually in a different town, you know, so it's a special circumstance. And it's, you know, the thing, it may not even, he's talking about either, like, directional drilling through a section of marsh or laying, I mean, I said, he knows it's gonna be really expensive. And he says, I may not even go through with this, I'm just curious what the board, how it would feel if I took care of everything all the way to the point where your main ends. Would it be okay for the water department, for us to hook in and get water from the town of Raleigh?
what do you recommend?
It's very hard, like I said to him, because I honestly don't think that with the permitting and through the marsh and all that stuff, that would even be a feasible option for him. You know, and I told him that. I said, you get 1,000 feet. I mean, it's a long...
There's no water over there? Huh. Are they around wells? Is he on a well now?
Yeah, and I guess the whole neighborhood's having problems with they have salt in their wells. So they're trucking in water right now. So that's
Really?
why he wanted to explore.
Now, where would the Newbury main be? How far back is that?
Newbury's on the other side of the Pocket River, all the way back by the DPW garage. That's where that ends. So
See, I think the trouble that you get into is that,
I feel it may not be a very good.
well, I mean, even if he was close, maybe if he was next door like this situation with White Farm, you still have a problem with, if he doesn't pay the bill. Right now, we have a power to put on his taxes or, you know, put a lien on it, you know?
Yeah.
But
Maybe
don't
we should put a
lien.
hold on this, and
Yeah,
give all 3 board members are here.
It was simply his just a
Yep.
you know, put it out there question. He didn't need an answer right away. He's just.
No, I'd rather see all 3 board members,
He's-
you know, vote on
Absolutely,
it.
that's fine. He just asked me to present it to the board.
Yeah.
So, that's all, just kind of,
What are we doing now with White Farm?
I mean, we supply them water, bill them, and,
And then they're paying?
yeah,
What if they don't pay?
well,
Then we have to shut them off.
you know, I
You
mean,
know, and we've had that situation, right? You know,
yeah,
so,
I mean, I think it happened a while back,
Yeah.
but. It
What are the
does get into a little, you know, I don't know with jurisdictional stuff, because it's not a common thing, you know?
Well, it might be worth it to, maybe we'll bring it, like Roy wants to, you know, we'll bring it up to when 3 members are here. But in the meantime, maybe you could call maybe 2 or 3 of the other communities around and see what they do in a situation like that.
I know from, you know, I don't know the legal stuff, but from experience, I worked in Newburyport and they operate the main. They serve all of Newbury, that section of town.
Yeah.
And they build and everything, and they have
MWRA does that.
they have jurisdiction over anything that main serves. So,
Yeah. I don't know how they.
like I said, this is kind of a special circumstance for us here because it doesn't, you know, we don't normally do that, and so you know, there would definitely have to be some more discussion, I think.
Yeah, I'd just like to, you know, put that on a hold, we have 3
Absolutely.
members here and discuss it more at that time.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, we took care of the tire cords. I did, at the request of Roy, I called for the scrap of the wire for the power cable. I called 4 more companies, and I don't think you guys have
No, I
copies. I'm not
didn't-
sure. You can Solomon Metals in Lynn, Mass. Offered 35 cents a pound. scrap it in Everett, Mass. It's 30 cents a pound. And Second Street Metals in Everett and English Recycling in Revere never returned my phone call or emails.
What was the other prices we had on before, Jay?
These are the before, and then these are the 4 more I got that you requested. And unfortunately, you know, I was only able to get these 2, and
So we're better off with the one in Lynn, correct?
yeah, that's delivered. You know, they don't. There's no pickup service on that.
Did you
wire.
call them at the same time?
So, what do you mean? Yeah,
These prices change by the day, so.
these were the same, and these were the next week or the same week.
What about the guys we normally deal with up in Salisbury?
Yeah, Amesbury is Nichols,
What do they charge?
30 cents.
30 cents?
So it's totally up to you guys. I mean, you know, it's, you know, 35 cents is better in Lynn. You have to drive farther, so it's.
What did you say, we got 500, 800?
I don't know how much weight. We got about 500 feet of it, between 500, 800 feet that they took out.
You don't have a rough
And,
estimate of,
on a weight, I mean, it's probably 1.5 pounds, a foot maybe. It's pretty light stuff. It's aluminum conductor, you know. Basically, what I was told by most of these companies, it's really not worth much to them. It's not one of those high-priced items
it's
like
aluminum,
straight
it's not
copper, you know?
It's aluminum?
No. Yeah.
Aluminum's pretty low now, isn't it?
So,
Anyways. So we got quotes on this, and it makes sense to
like I said, those first 3 hadn't changed in price. So,
Does it make a difference on the price whether it's 600 pounds or 20 pounds, you know?
no, that's the price per pound. That's what they, you know, even more common stuff like straight copper or whatever, if you get your price, it's all just by the pound, you know, regardless of how much you have.
Well, Nichols is 30 cents a pound, and then the mileage up there is what? How many miles to Amesbury?
15, 20, tops.
Up and back,
No, one way, 15, right?
so roughly 30 miles, and down the Lynn, it's probably 60 miles, right?
Probably
30
25
down.
down there, yeah. 50 to 60. What's the difference, figure out the nickel? Just take a rough estimate, what do you take, 800 pounds?
5 cents.
It's tough because they're all on this. They railed them on the. On the
No, I'm just looking for a
things,
ballpark figure.
So and those are pretty heavy.
How do you get it on the truck?
Well, we put the spools on the truck with the backhoe,
Yeah, so you put the spool on the back of
on
the
the dump
truck.
truck. and they did unload it when we got there, you know.
Yeah. So we gonna damage the truck by putting this on? Is it that heavy, or is it?
No.
So 5 cents for.
I mean, I'll guess, you know, it's at least 500 pounds. It's probably more than that. It's tough for me to gauge because it's all on the big.
No, I just wonder what the
On
difference
the big
was.
spools, so, and those are heavy in themselves, you know.
You know, if it's $100 more by taking the stuff down, it's worth it, but if it's only 25, it isn't worth it, is what I'm saying.
And that's why I spoke to 2 companies about pickup service.
But they
It's
won't do it.
because of that wire and stuff. It's not like you have like a bin of copper where they can just put it on their portable scale. You got this, you know, long wire that you have to weigh all out, and they just can't do it mobile, you know. So
When you talked to the Lynn outfit, you talked about, it's a coil of wire on a wood coil, and they didn't have a problem with that?
Oh.
So it's a nickel times 500, what's that? How much is 500 nickels? Let's ask our business manager, maybe
I was
she,
gonna say like 20
Like
bucks.
25
I mean, you're not
bucks.
talking a lot of money here.
$25, right?
Yeah, yeah.
so it's 25 bucks.
For the distance, why don't we just take it to Amesbury?
Yeah, I think,
I mean, we did everything that we were supposed to do, get the.
Amesbury
bids.
is quicker
Put that
to get
in.
to and all that stuff, so I make a motion, we, with its pricing, they send it to Amesbury, and then the check will be made out to what, the town of Raleigh, or what, how do they do that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Laura takes it from there.
Yep, he brings in the check and I deposit it with the treasurer's office.
Okay. So it goes into the town account.
Well, it goes into the Raleigh, the water department miscellaneous account.
Okay,
We get the money, yeah. it's
all right.
So I'll second that motion then.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good.
Laura, can you just, when you do have your vote or whatever,
Yeah.
is just have that in there so it
Yeah.
does show all your
Sure.
quotes?
Sure.
Alright. We kind of touched on the Gerzak Lane project last meeting. It was kind of preliminary. I had been approached by the town planner and the developer about that they wanted to get it on to accept the road by this town meeting. And I had said, we have a punch list. And I had originally, I guess, I've been told that, that we could, to get it done in a quick manner, because the developer just kind of, with whatever happened, just wasn't taking care of things or whatever. Get it done, what we had left to get done, and we would get the money out of the bond. I guess, from what I understand now, the developer, the money can't be released out of the bond to us. The developer has to cover the cost pay directly to us. So at this point, we have a projected, cost of things we've already done and one more job that needs to be done, and we have a total. So I guess we're kind of just at the point where I sent him, an email and said, if you want to take care of this punch list, then you need to come to the water department with a check. And I haven't heard back, so I guess I want to just find out if, is all right with the board, that we complete the punch list as long as, the total is paid.
Well,
Well, we gotta have the money up front,
That's
correct?
right.
well,
So we can't do nothing until we get the money from him.
Correct.
we need a contract with this guy.
Well, we're not, no.
No, it'd be like
No.
any other service, it would be a service bill, Tim,
Okay.
just like a developer would.
We're doing a service for him.
Yeah,
Yeah, if he goes to put
He's
that
not doing
on.
service for us, it would be the difference.
I
he
know, but
puts
do
that
we
on
give
the-
him a contract to sign, or do we just give him the money, we need this money up front?
we'll
If
give
he
him
goes to put it
whatever.
on that he wants to get the road accepted, we have to go downtown and just tell him that, no, this stuff has to be done before it's accepted.
And when we're trying to work with the planning department and stuff, and they're trying to push all the departments to get, let's get this punch list stuff done, and
Yeah, but
so,
until we get the check, we can't.
absolutely,
We have service rates and everything,
absolutely.
right? We've already set the service rates for our vehicles and
There's
Absolutely.
been an awful lot of problems with that developer.
So it's all
from day
time.
one.
times the rates.
Yeah, I guess it's
And
all right here.
materials, yeah.
It's all right here.
Okay.
Parts, breakdown, everything.
So if
So
I
we
make,
just kinda-
we put a hold on that until he comes down with
Absolutely.
a check.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if he does, when he does bring a check, we'll come back to a meeting. But is that okay that we complete the work to finish the punch list?
I have no problem, as long as we get
Okay.
paid for it.
All right. Because the other option, which there isn't much time left now, is for him to go out and hire a contractor to do all this stuff. And And, you know.
Still, somebody, you, John, or somebody's gotta be down there
That's
to
right.
okay the work.
That's right.
You gotta tell this guy too up front
So-
what this pricing is that you put together. This is what we estimate it to be. It might be,
Yeah,
Plus or
and
minus
he
5%,
has already
we don't
expressed
know.
that he has no problem paying the money, but what we ran into is when this was first brought up to me, is that instead of coming directly from him ahead of time, that it was gonna be released from the bond. And that was wrong information, so things have.
so he knows up front now that it's gonna come from him.
He has been informed now,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
So until we see a check.
it's kind of a, yes.
just put it
We
back
had
in the file
we
again.
had brought it up at the last meeting, that's why I wanted to just let you know. It was
Well,
going
it's
on.
good to be creative about it, but it's like,
So,
So we can tell him
kinda
in
wanna
writing,
keep
you
you up
know,
to date.
we can tell him in writing that we estimate it's gonna be costing this amount of money. Okay,
Yeah, I've already forwarded that to him,
okay.
so he knows.
And did you give him a letter from the department, or?
I just emailed him this. Because we had already talked about it, he had already got a copy from the town planner of this,
Uh-huh.
back when I had given it to the town planner, because, you know, she had requested what was left for the punch list and the cost of that. So
Okay.
she had forwarded him that, and I also, just to reiterate the fact, had sent him an email also.
So how do we get a check from him, but we actually generate a bill?
Right. Right,
So the bill would reflect the time and
yeah,
materials and the things that you did to get that thing accomplished per the planning board's
Yeah.
satisfaction and the water department's satisfaction. And so I don't have a problem with that.
We need to-
Once we find, you know, like I said, it's been being worked on the past week or so, so once I have more information that he's, yeah, we definitely do this, no, whatever, then I'll let you guys know,
Okay,
so.
Okay.
We had a,
We don't need a vote on that because it's normal business. We just want to make sure that, you know,
when I get more information, I'll keep you guys up to
the
date.
question was whether or not we could tap into a bond. We
Yeah,
can't. We can't, so.
to do the job, we have all parts in stock anyway, so we don't have to go out and special purchase anything, so. You guys all set on that, or?
Yeah, just, get her done.
Moving on.
okay.
We had a treatment plant meeting this morning. I'm just gonna give you the latest. Monthly progress is interior walls and basins are almost complete. They began the rebar installation in the residuals basin. They began the structural slab floor, and they backfilled the base slab, which is the main foundation. They finished laying the 8-inch raw water main to the plant. They finished laying the 10-inch finished water main up to in front of the plant. And they excavated for the CIP waste tank. Proposed for next month is continue structural slab form and pour. Finish the pours on all interior basins and install the CIP waste tank. We reviewed RFI status. Review change order status, all are pending. There's nothing outstanding right now,
no, we're
so.
working still on change order 4, and we're
Yeah.
not, probably next month, we'll probably be able to bring that to the board.
Maintenance, Pingree Farm Road, filling and grading, has been completed. Certified payrolls are up to date, OSHA 10 certifications are up to date. The up-to-date pay estimates were submitted today. Future work at the existing well sites were discussed. We need to make sure the sequence of work is scheduled correctly when the wells are taken out of service, so we have enough supply when demand is higher. And the status of project is still 4 weeks behind schedule.
4 weeks behind.
But as we talked last time on the status, is that they have continued to do other things ahead of schedule, so that hopefully, you know, as we move along, it'll all even out.
I briefly came to the meeting at the waning last seconds of it today, and I got to talk to Barbara Cook, and so I got a little bit of an update too with
Yeah.
Laura and Jason, so
So if you
it's looking good.
have any questions, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm up there almost every day, so if you guys ever have, need up-to-date information, and just,
So did they actually backfill around the basement
Yeah.
floor already?
yeah,
So that's all backfilled?
yeah.
And then out in the back there's some lagoons, are they all done, or?
Yeah, those are, pretty much set. They worked, a while back, they did pour. One of the lagoons is gonna be, for the solids,
Uh-huh,
and I believe that's, done. And, yeah, they got the lagoons pretty much graded out. They've been doing, basically concentrating on getting, that concrete work done. It's been tough with the weather, so they have to set up shelters and heat the whole inside while they're pouring, and,
yeah.
But it looks, you can go up and, they put the forms for the first floor, and, you can go up and stand there and look at all the bathroom tanks, and it's looking really good, so.
So the tanks in the basement, are they all concrete?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what they're continually working on, so.
How many yards of concrete do they got in there now?
I don't know.
A lot.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Where are they getting the concrete?
I believe it's McClellan.
Yeah. Huh. Quite a
Okay,
project then, huh?
Yep.
We're all set on that, right?
We're all set.
There's
Yeah,
one thing I wanted to, I forgot about this on the minutes, let me just check. No, I'm all done with that. Okay, so the next item is what,
13, discuss the information request by the board. Selectmen.
yeah, there were the 4 items, I believe?
I have the draft letter. Have you added anything to that?
No, so Tim wants to speak to that.
Okay.
That letter, I looked at it, and it was a good first start, but it didn't really reflect our, we really didn't get involved with some of those decisions. So I felt that it was a good stab at trying to get it documented, but Laura did a wonderful job trying to, but I just didn't think it was accurate enough for us to. The intent was for us to look at those responses to the selectmen and then have a letter presented to the board of selectmen. I don't think we can do that. So
I just feel if we don't give them something down there, we're gonna be in trouble again. And I would like something like this to, explain some of it to, and Laura made up with the draft. I think half of the problem we got into is because we didn't respond to them in a timely manner to begin with.
Well, what I was thinking we could do, Roy, is to maybe go through, there's basically 4 items, and just go through it and maybe verbalize how our feelings would be as far as how we can respond, whether it be a letter or decide whether we should even, come to terms with whether we even had knowledge of some of this stuff, so. You want to talk, let's talk about each item one at a time. I could read they had a lot of questions about the, of course, this was all regarding the garage addition.
Yep.
And their big question was, why do we need a full range oven? And I don't know, Jason, why do we need a full range oven at the back there?
Well, we had addressed that by, during a lot of, emergencies, water breaks, we get a meal allowance. And so we, figured that instead of, we could prepare our own meals here, instead of, having to go out and get something to eat. A lot of time it's in the middle of the night and there's no eating places open in Raleigh in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So therefore, we have the facilities to come and get a quick bite to eat.
Didn't we have a stove in this other place over here?
No.
So what do we have over here? Just a radar range?
Just a sink and a microwave.
Yeah. Well, I don't feel very comfortable about deciding, making any kind of claim that I decided about a full range oven. It wasn't even brought up to me.
No, I mean, it wasn't brought up to me, but I mean, I can't see the point of having it after, you know, and explaining it, it makes sense.
I think our response should be that, just you and I didn't make I think Scott should be answering this, and why he decided to go with a full range oven. I don't think I can say why, you know, if it's that necessary for one of those storms that occur, you know, maybe twice a year, we could have a full range oven in there. I think that I feel comfortable about, you know, letting Scott answer that. How often is the stove actually used?
Well,
Do you use it every day?
close.
Yeah. I think we just ought to, you know, bring it up at the next meeting with the selectmen. Maybe, you know, Scott that wasn't here at this meeting to give us an answer, you know, if the stove is needed. Sometimes, it could be, you know, an amenity to the staff down here. But, you know, I don't know why we needed a, you know, big oven like that. But is it like a, it's like a, what is it, like a, I haven't even seen it. Is it like a full stove with oven in it, or does it have an oven above it?
Yeah, and it's the most stripped down model that we could find anyway. I mean, it's
So it's
basic,
the most stripped down.
it's basic, just electric,
Yeah.
you know.
Did you get any quotes for it, or just
Yeah,
you know?
I was not,
Yeah.
the purchasing and authorization of that, I was not involved in, so.
So how did it get
See,
here?
that's
Did
what the
somebody pick it
problem,
up?
we weren't either.
I can't, you know, I'm not gonna speak on the superintendent's behalf or any, or what.
Well, how did they
so-
get here? Did one of the trucks pick it up, or did they just have it delivered?
Yeah, no, we picked it up.
Okay. Well, let's bring it up at the next selectmen's. We're gonna be there anyway Monday night. Let's see if we can hash it out with them.
Okay,
If he's not here tonight, then we've gotta, you know, hash it out with them as a board, and then as opposed to writing, my intent was to put it in writing and give it to him, but, you know, we need some help here.
okay.
What was the second, why did the water board authorize the purchase of a high-end coffee machine? So that you guys bought a Cuisinart 12-cup coffee maker from Lowe's. Once again, I don't know who made the decision, but I think it was a good idea, you know? You got a high-end machine, it's not gonna break down, it's an amenity down here. But once
So
again,
much
I'm not
even what I
sure.
paid for my Keurig house.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I know that these questions aren't directed towards me, but
Yeah.
if we were, you know, we had other coffee makers and you get the glass ones and they break and all that.
I know.
So how many do you go through? You know, that was the,
So,
as to what you just said, it's that. You
so
know.
how does the coffee get here now? Do you guys chip in as employees and bring
we
the
pay,
coffee in?
we pay for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when, you know, the water department isn't paying for coffee?
No.
Okay.
Just like
Who's the
any-
chief coffee
any-
mucky muck
You know, any food.
for the department? Is that Laura?
The what?
You the
What?
chief coffee mucky muck?
No. I'm a tea drinker.
Okay, so that answers that. So when we talked to him on Monday night, we're moving on. We got a coffee maker. It's gonna last. It's $100 model.
We had a water main break, Martin Luther King Day. It was freezing out. We made a pot of coffee for the guys, we were here for 6 hours. We made a little something to eat, quick. When we got back, just to keep us going and stuff,
Yeah,
It's
an emergency
well,
work.
it was 19 degrees out and stuff like that. It's
Emergency.
the guys need a little something to,
They need a
when
basic
you're out there and
operation.
freezing cold and on a day off and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
They need a base of operations. They
So-
need to. And then you guys are a union guys, so you got to take a break once in a while, right? So.
Yeah, and we're given like a meal allowance, like you said, now, so we don't have to, we save a little money there, for the department. I mean, it'll pay, you said the stove's $400 or $500, but if we're paying $100 to $200 a year in meal allowance, and now we're doing this instead, over time it pays for it.
I know, but it makes sense to have a coffee machine as every other office does. And it makes sense to have something that's not gonna break down every 3 months.
I don't think it's so much the idea of the stove or the coffee pot, it was the idea that it was done and nobody knew what was going on.
Well, it went into the budget there, which shouldn't have gone into the budget, so. Okay. That's the coffee maker. What was the next question?
The gates.
Please explain the purchase of the gates and out of what budget did you pay for them? What do we pay for them out of, Laura?
Okay, so, just so we clarify this, Roy, you didn't know that, but we did buy the materials.
Yes, I didn't know that.
You didn't know
I
that.
gotta apologize
in all
for Monday night,
fairness, so I do have the bills here if you want to bring them with you.
Yes.
Where do we buy the materials?
So we bought the materials from State Supply in Ipswich. $22,570.47.
State Supply, is that
Material?
down here,
Ipswich.
past,
It's,
You're going to a junkyard.
It's in Ipswich? Wonder why.
was it down past, where the golf driving range is? Is it down there?
For the bottle shop on the left. By the car wash, right in that area.
Across the
There's
street.
a butcher shop in that little strip thing there up behind that.
Okay, all right. So it was bought at State Supply?
Are those aluminum galvanized, what are those?
I don't know.
And
I
here's the bill.
had nothing to do with that project, so I'm sorry, I can't speak to it.
Here's the bill, here's the bills. I wanted you to see it.
Galvanized.
And here's the 3 bills, I did pull them out.
So what were the materials?
Here, Tim, there's,
Is there another one there?
this, yeah.
Is this my copy or is
Yeah,
this
you don't
yours?
have that.
Okay. So the total bill here was $2,500.70.47.
Yeah,
Plus 66, was it?
plus the other bills.
The fabrication?
For Fred, yeah, I put it behind there,
So it's 66 plus the.
plus this, yeah.
And these were, it looks like, were they delivered to Hardy?
It was delivered to Hardy, yes. Right, Jay, that never, I didn't know about, to be honest with you. It didn't come here,
No.
so, I guess that's another question.
So when was the delivery of this?
The bill was July 10th.
July 10th, okay.
When it was delivered? I would assume that was the day it was delivered.
There was nothing I could say because I wasn't involved in it, and I think we paid way too much.
Now, what's the status of the, these gates right now? Are they all done?
As far as I know, there's no, in order to put the anchors on, which there needs to be modifications done to the gates to make it work, and there was never any latches or anything to lock them welded on.
Okay,
As
so-
far as I can see, like I said,
So he designed and fabricated them, didn't he? Design and fabricate and weld. The vendor did.
So does that mean we have to have him get up there and do some welding or something to make it right?
yeah.
So it sounds like a design problem.
It appears to be that way.
Now, how deep are the hinge cords? I mean, how deep are those posts going in the ground?
Close to 5 feet.
They're going down 5 feet, huh?
Yeah. And if the thing is the reason they were laying on the ground is we were waiting to get those cut, so you could put a, you welded the thing on and put a turnbuckle on it. That didn't happen. I was told, I knew they were too heavy, just by, we tried to pick them up with the backhoe. I went and hung them, and now they're all laying right over on the ground. As far as I'm concerned, they need to be, whoever designed them, they need to be finished.
And as far as I'm concerned,
So,
we shouldn't have to pay any more for that. There should have been, you said there's not even a way to lock it?
Are they defective?
no, I just don't think it was finished. I'm just.
Yeah, I know. You're
Just
right in the middle of it.
I'm just going in the direction of,
But maybe take a ride down there tomorrow and to see if he's planning on doing anything else and get back to us and let us know what is going on. And hopefully we'll have an answer before next Monday night before we go to the meeting.
Well, wait a minute. Did he install them or did we install them?
we installed, I was told to install the posts. We concreted them in and plumbed them all up.
So that the posts have concrete around them.
Oh yeah.
How deep, you went down 5 feet?
Yeah.
And,
So we did that. I was instructed.
did you dig with the backhoe?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was instructed to do that, and then we tried, once it was all cured, superintendent instructed me to try to hang the gates, and we did, and the thing
Just bent over?
bent right down, and I said, well then, he said, well maybe we need to put an anchor on it, and I said, well you gotta cut the notches to be able to put something on there, attach it, and have it still swing. It just wasn't done, and I just waited for the direction.
Well, I guess what the question would be, is it a design thing? Because maybe they should have been 8 feet deep for that weight. What do you think?
I think what he should do is take a ride down and see him tomorrow and find out if he's planning on doing the stuff, so we know before next Monday night, so we can explain this to the Board of Selectmen, what's going on here. Because I wasn't involved in it to begin with, but I guess we're going to straighten out. We've already bought the material and paid for them, so we've got to do something with them to use them. So let's see what the next step is.
Like I said, I
And just
honestly,
get back to us before Monday night.
I said I didn't have anything to do with the ordering all and stuff, but any direction. from
Well, I'd like to
you
go
guys-
down and see if he's going to take care of that or what we're going to do.
Okay.
Yeah, something's not right about them. If they, maybe they should be 8 feet deep, instead of 5. I don't know.
Well,
Well,
I mean, if he never welded the pieces on so you can lock it, So I mean, that's design right there.
It's not even
Wasn't finished.
finished with that. It's a matter of hanging them. And then what did Scott down at the highway department do? How deep were his, you know?
I have no idea.
So I'll
I-
ask
I-
Scott tomorrow.
I mean, you gotta remember, there's.
There's
you
a
know,
big difference
Step
between-
rates in the weight, yeah, I mean, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if for that kind of money, you would think that they would work, you know?
Sounds like they're not finished to me.
Yeah.
You know, that's solely on observing what's out there. You know,
Well-
I mean,
I'd like you to go down there and see, if he's planning on finishing it, or what recourse we're gonna do after that.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll have three of us here that we can decide what we're gonna do.
Okay, I think that's what we ought to do. And then we can bring that information with us. Maybe you could give us an email. Give me an email to see what his response was down there.
okay.
And then while you're down there, swing by the street department and talk to Scott, see how deep his things went in. Because that might be part of the problem as far as him kneeling over there. You know?
Yeah, you're talking a big difference of weight.
Yeah, but, I mean, those gates of the highway, they probably only need to be like 2 feet down, they're very light, you know.
I don't know.
These, you know, we put them pretty deep and,
Right now, we gotta have to do reinstallation there because they're all kneeled over, you know? So. Let's try to find out what the solution is so we can move on.
okay.
What was that, item 3?
Yeah, and, on this one here, Tim, we don't have a second kitchen, it's got a sink and a microwave, that does not classify as a second kitchen as far as I'm concerned. And the second restroom, you know, we're gonna have one for the guys out there that are coming in duty and everything else, using the new one out there, and Laura and whoever's gonna be here, worker or help or whatever, is gonna be using this one here, and it'll be the ladies' room, and we get a sign and mark it ladies' room.
Okay,
And plus handicap, that's handicap accessible also, correct?
yeah.
And, I mean, I have no problem with that, with a men's room and a ladies' room. I don't think you wanna walk in there with mud all over the floor, and the guys come out of the trench here.
Well, there are 9 of us that work here, so.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Sometimes it gets busy.
The last one was, please explain why the water board felt the need to create an additional office space. And why did you not bring it forward to the selectmen, finance committee, and town meeting? I can't answer that.
I can't either.
No, I mean, Scott's not here. And then there's the water board commissioners in agreement with this law. And they're talking about, if you do like a building there, you have to have, an appropriation from the town meeting. And is the water board commissioners in agreement with this law, and do they understand that they have exceeded the town's meetings authorization? Well, you and I are aware now. We're not sure what happened and why it got out of hand, so once again, you and I are, two pieces of the 4-piece puzzle, okay? I don't know why, and I think we ought to go on record that we don't know why, this budget was exceeded. I'm in agreement with the law, but I don't know how it got out of hand. The agreement with the law is saying that we got a capital expense like that, you need to go to town meeting. So we always knew that, but we don't know how this thing proceeded.
Wasn't golden.
So some of the other highlighted things here, where did you buy the steel from? Well, we got that, it's state supply. This is, I'm going down the minutes from their meeting, or the notes from their meeting. of last Monday night. I don't know why we purchased the gates in that manner with that many.
The only thing, you know, I had mentioned before that we needed a set of gates after we locked the plow. I did not, was not involved in this idea. I know we needed it, but I wasn't involved in getting them.
So what we ought to do is, when we go to, we ought to go discuss this in the joint meeting with the board, their board, and try to figure out a solution to this matter. And hopefully Scott will show up Monday. So the meeting is at Monday, I think probably 7:30 again.
Yeah.
Over the selectmen's
I
office.
guess we're done sometime.
And then,
28th.
but I felt that, you know, we needed to talk about it tonight. The other thing that's been brought to my attention, that Scott has said verbally to Laura and maybe you, does he intend to come to any more meetings?
I talked to him, the day before Laura did, I mean, just before Laura did. He said that, if I wanted to post a meeting, go down and post it. That he wasn't going to, but he didn't tell me he was gonna quit.
Okay. Because the,
As
we're
far as I
hearing,
know, he's still upset.
yeah. Did anybody else hear anything about whether he's gonna?
Until we get word from him, I think we keep going on the way we are.
Well, I'd like to maybe send him a letter to find out what his intentions are. Because if you're up and stuck up in Maine and I'm here trying to conduct a meeting, and if he's not here, then we're gonna be in real trouble with us meeting schedule. So maybe we should go on the record as far as asking him if he's planning on staying on the board. You wanna do that?
Yeah?
I think what we gotta do is ask him, you know, if he's intending to stay on the board, if he's intending on staying as chairman. And I think we need to know, whether given the meeting schedule, we need to find out sooner rather than later what his intentions are, informally in writing. So what I was thinking that we ought to do is send him a letter and then ask him to respond within 10 days.
Okay.
Laura, do you think you could whip together a letter, and we can take an intermission here?
Sure.
And then we could sign it and send it out tonight, and hopefully we can get this thing going? Because I would really like to know what his intentions are.
I haven't talked to him since you were sick, so I don't know.
Yeah, he's not responding to the calls, he didn't respond to any of the phone calls. So can we take a short intermission? And Laura, do you think you could put a letter together?
Okay,
Would be
we'll
some
go
of
take a stab at it.
Yeah, and then,
That mean I got a quick cigarette.
yeah. So we'll take a 5-minute break. We're reopening the meeting after a short recess. The problem at hand is we want to make sure that Scott is going to be coming back to the board. He's been a valuable member for so many years, and he's been such a asset to the department, but we want to make sure we're covered in the next period of all these meetings we have to do with budgets and everything else, and all the questions from the selectmen and everything. So this is the letter that I propose that we send out to Scott, requesting the status of his position as chairman of the Raleigh Water Board. Dear Mr. Martin, at the meeting tonight, the Board of Water Commissioners voted to request your intentions to remain chairman or be a member of this board. We have several meetings in the next 4 weeks, which would be significantly detrimental to the department's operation, given the supervisor is in an indefinite leave and the many problems at hand. Will you please respond within 10 days of this request so as not to impede our ability to act as a board? Your written response on your continued service or your resignation will be much appreciated at this time of need. Sincerely yours, Roy Ricker, clerk, and Tim Toomey, member. Does that sound appropriate?
Okay.
Okay, so I vote
Yeah,
to,
we need Scott for our budget, but I mean, he's the one that's been going over all this, and without John,
yeah,
we're kind of putting an awful lot on Laura that doesn't need to be.
so, so it's dated January 22nd, 2013. And it's going to be sent to his house at 3 Weathersfield Street. And I vote to accept this letter to send to him.
1 second.
All in favor?
Right. Have anything else, Tim?
I can't think of anything.
Motion to adjourn?
I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.